Okay, hi everyone. So I'm just in a new room this time, and I kind of wanted to just talk about questions. When you had loads of questions about what's going to happen in the future, and you're just like, what is the deal? Just want to firstly open in prayer. Lord, I just thank you for having this opportunity to include you in our day and to be able to give you the questions that we have in our heart and to not let these dictate our feelings, our day, and how we project ourselves, how we project what you've said in the current situation. I also just want to pray for anyone who's been overthinking about, okay, today doesn't line up with what you've told them. I pray that they have a lot of peace, that they do not fear, they can laugh. Right now, they don't have to think about the future in a fearful way, but they can be confident to know that you have given them the opportunity to be in the present, that they can enjoy your presence, and that however you are showing them to get to the future, that they don't have to worry about that. They just focus on what you want them to do now and get out of growing people's business, get out of God's business. So, yeah, I pray these things in Yeshua's name. Amen. So, a couple of my friends and myself, we've been having the same kind of thoughts on our mind about what do we do when you have questions that don't seem to be answered, but other people are also getting the answers to the questions that we've been asking. So, what do you do if someone's got more questions, when you've got more questions and answers, and then you want to see results, but you don't? And for me, when I was speaking to my friends, and even when I speak over myself, I'm just like, why do I have all these questions? Are these questions conducive? Because if they're just questions like, when will I be married? Why do I have to do 9 to 5? What is going to happen in, after I've done this season? All these questions are great, but they're also very futile. Where am I going with these questions? Are they actually going to produce anything? Or are they going to give me more questions and more anxiety? And so I realized, you have to change perspective of the question. Like, okay, I want to be married, fine. I want to travel, fine. I want to have this business. I want to do these things, but what is it that I really want? Is it fame? Do I want fame? What is the heart of what I'm after? Am I ready for to be married? Like, yeah, personally, I've been single for, let's just say, all my life. Like, even the little relationship that I had, let's dismiss that one. Like, but I was in that relationship for a little while, and it changed me it caused me to change my perspective on a lot of things, in terms of how I viewed myself, and even how I looked at God, because that other person was in my ear. So it made me realize, okay, what do I want to see in my own relationship? What do I want to see about myself? And so, in terms of, like, when is marriage going to happen, just, you know what, the Lord has spoken to me about it, but I'm here right now. I can't make certain dates come closer. I just have to endure it. And it's like this, some people could say, oh, it's just like, it's long, I just want to be married. But it's like, there are times I'm just like, I just want to be married, but at times I'm just like, I like my freedom. Like, I don't have to answer to no one. So there's also like working on that balance. Like, okay, so where am I going with these questions, and what's the root of these questions? Like, am I actually just gonna sit in this place of like question, 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 or can I turn it around? If the Lord has already put these desires in your heart, it's like, Lord, you've given me just this desire. Like, I'm gonna give it back to you, because I know, if I give it back to you and put it in your hands, you can redeem that. For me, if I keep it, I'm just gonna be holding on to it and festering, so that any person who comes up to me, oh, this must be the guy to marry. But you know what I mean? So like, it's more of a thing where you just learn to back off and to be like, this is what you've given me, Lord. I'm going to walk in your confidence. I'm not going to have fear over this. And I'm going to start redirecting my questions, redirecting how I think about redirect the thoughts in my mind. Especially, well, for me, I'm a monologuer. Like, I will think about things and I'm just like, well, you didn't do this. And it's like, I would replay everything in my mind. And so I realized, actually, let's not do that. Let's change the way that even I think about myself. And so that would change how the questions I ask ultimately. Like if I think, oh, I should have done this, and if I didn't go out with that person and I could have met this other person, it's like, well, hold on. What about changing it? Oh, I went out, didn't work out. It was a learning curve for me. You know what I mean? Like, and not to say you can't have negative experiences, because they do exist, but it also means that you have to really think about, you have to draw the line. Where's the border on this? Am I spiraling to an environment where it's just about focusing on me and I'm putting myself on a pedestal because I don't think I'm worthy, I don't think I'm able to travel or to step out in a new environment or to do whatever it is that you got on your heart? Have I put myself on a pedestal, or can I put my pride down? Can I put myself down and be able to say, all right, Lord, you are the king of my heart. These questions are not gonna just be questions. I'm going to direct these questions to you, and I'm going to make sure that you are the centerpiece of all these questions. And so, yeah, I would say be vulnerable with the Lord. Be like, Lord, you know what? I don't like my current situation, but what do you want me to release in this situation? What do you want me to learn in the situation? Turn everything into a question that actually gives the Lord to breathe. You know what I mean? Like if you're asking, when will I be right? It's kind of just like, it's a very closed question. Like, what can you say? Not now, tomorrow, next year. There's not too many answers going on there, but if you've given the Lord an opportunity to actually converse with you, then of course that you're opening up for dialogue. And that's the thing that I'm trying to get to. Like, this main YouTube channel is about identity, but it is mainly about, okay, for you to identify with anyone, say that your person's your friend, that person's your father, that person's your mother, you have to be able to have a conversation with them. You have to be able to understand them. Like there's certain things that you will have a conversation with your dad that you may not have with certain other relatives in your family. And so there's that element of being vulnerable with certain people that gets you to really like, oh, do you know, I identify more with this type of person or these group of people. So yeah, be vulnerable with the Lord. And it's weird at first, but it's so worth it. So yeah, be vulnerable with the Lord. But yeah, like I said before, the process won't be easy. A lot of the times it won't be. But it doesn't mean you have to sit there and be like, well, that's it, I'm just going to be vexed for the whole season. Like, no, like enjoy it. Find something to enjoy. And sometimes it's just like, I've got nothing to enjoy in this season. But do you have the chance to be able to say, I take my focus off my situation. Lord, renew my mind in this season. And when you ask the Lord to renew even the mundane, like something like even the birds singing, it's like, whoa, I never knew the birds were singing all day. You know what I mean? So like just little things like that can really change, can really even open up how you view things, can really open up like things in your mind. Like, oh, people are, yeah. Yeah. Who you are around and what you are around, what you listen to, what you take in, these things can open up doubt. And what I mean by that is, people who are constantly telling you, hey, you're getting on. I'm 27, and people like, 27? Where the ring there? And I'm just like, well, the ring's not coming. Like in the way that in the timeline that you expect it. The ring will come when it comes. But that doesn't mean my identity, my life starts when I get a ring. Or doesn't mean that until I get a certain amount of money in my bank account, then I can travel and do these things in my own flesh, like in my own strength and flesh. Those questions, those pressures, that is pretty easy to put on anyone, because sometimes even I do it and I don't realize that I put pressures on someone, like, oh, so how old are you? Oh, so I do it without thinking, and it's just a cultural thing. But I think when you become aware, and when you become aware of what people do, even if it doesn't seem intentional, you can just politely say, do you know what? I know when you know, when I know you know kind of thing. And I think when you have, set up polite boundaries and then set up firmer boundaries, then people will not necessarily say, oh, she's just moody, I'm not going to talk to her. It's more of a thing where it's like, oh, okay, like, I won't push in. Now, obviously, you've got the pushy people. And it's just like, you've got to learn how to decipher what kind of barrier you need to put up with other people, certain people. But for the most part, you can just politely fend it off, but also to not internalize everything. Like, not everything is a thing where it's like, well, she must have said this, because sometimes it's like just people being polite and it's like, we don't know what to talk about, so you ask personal questions. Or sometimes it's like a lot more intentional, and that people know your situation, they're still asking you questions like, bro, like, what, you didn't see me last week? Like, why are you asking me so many questions? So also for you to not internalize some of the questions, but to put up those boundaries around your own heart, so that when people do like trying to put fear in you, it's like, no. I'm doing me. I'm not asking you about your business. Like, let me do me, in it. And so, yeah, I think some of the questions that we have, we need to steady those questions in the word. What does the word say about uncertainty? There's a lot of people who've been uncertain about their future. Take Sarah, for example, where she's just like, there's no chance. Like, all her odds are stacked against her, but yet she still had the baby. And it's not just talking about, people who are barren. We're talking about barren in terms of like the womb. We're talking about just in your life, you could still have a season of dryness when nothing is produced. But it doesn't mean that your prayers are empty. It means that your prayers are still going into the ears of someone who cares so deeply about you. So still continue to pray, even if it's like, well, I don't see any of these things. I've been praying for years for certain things and I still don't see the result of them. But it doesn't mean I'm going to give up. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm not going to pray for this. But sometimes like, that's just me having my hissy fit. But, when it comes to the thick of it, I still pray for those things, because I know that my prayers are still have an effect. They still have authority. So, walk in the authority that you've been given and you're growing in with the Lord. And so yeah, I'm speaking about these things in a sense of urgency. I feel like there's a lot of distractions. Like, it's so distracting to get caught up in the thoughts that you've been having. Like, oh, X thought, insert blank. This thought is, at the front of your mind. Maybe it's not about none of the things I mentioned. I'm just talking about what I'm thinking about. Maybe it's about, you wanting to become a better employee at your work, and you feel like you're not that good. Like, how am I going to be good at this? And you try to study more and more and more. It's like, yeah, that's still great to be able to learn more. But then it was also a time where it's like, you have to take a seat. Just stop, just be able to sit and rest at the feet of Jesus. And I think that is something that will grow your questions. Your questions won't be like, how can I be a better employer? Like, okay, what is it that I'm learning here in this season? Because being a better employer means that you'll always be working for someone who they can change in a moment. But if you're steady in the Lord and you're just like, okay, Lord, on a context of like, what can I, in a context like, how do I deal with stress? Now, how do I deal with like short notice? These kind of questions, I think, maybe change how you think about not just the work environment, but when someone drops on you short notice, oh, I can't come, and then you've made plans from like a week ago. These kind of things can help you navigate more externally, other than just work. And so in that respect, you are opening up how the Lord can work through you if you're asking the right questions. There's distractions that Eve had. She heard, did the Lord really? And maybe for me, I speak about, I feel like I want to be married at some stage, but I feel like there's a so in terms of the urgency, I really feel like these distractions are trying to mess with your frequency of hearing the Lord. And this is where you have to like really like sift through all the noise, and to be able to focus solely on the Lord. And for me, I want to be married, I want to travel the world, I want to do all these things, but I kind of sometimes hear like this nagging voice like, did the Lord really say? you'll get married? Did the Lord really give you that desire? Did the Lord really tell you you can travel? And, you know, Eve had this problem too. Like, did the Lord really say you can't eat that fruit? I almost said apple. And so she started to doubt. And, you know, given that tiny thought had such an effect on today, even till today, you can see how given a such a small tiny thought process to the enemy, it can really detriment one's mindset. And so you have to be aware, you have to be awake, you know, when it comes to your thoughts, especially because this is where all the questions start. It doesn't start with like, oh, you're externally processed. A lot of it is an internal thing. Even if you're an external process, you still have to think that thought, right? And so one of the things that I think it's Philippians, it says fix your thoughts. And, you know, just having that verb there to fix. Whenever you have to fix something, it's usually something broken. And so if you having to fix your mind, fix your thoughts, that means there's some kind of disconnect to what you want to have and what your reality is looking like. And so on a real day-to-day, it's something where you have to be like, that's not right. You have to really focus on what's normal, what's not. Sorry, that's not really what I say. What's normal, what you've normally been thinking about, and how to change that. And you can't do that on your own, because if you were to try and say, oh, do you know what, I'm going to think positive thoughts today, insert what happened in that. But for me, I definitely have been like, Lord, you know, search my thoughts, search my heart, test my anxious thoughts. Like, these dangerous prayers, these things are not going to shy away. They're not going to just like disappear. They're gonna really come up a lot stronger, and you're gonna really think about how you think. And so when you start thinking about how you think, your questions are also going to be challenged. So all this to say, all of this to say, use your questions and use them wisely. Don't sit there and think about what you don't have, why you don't have these things, even if you've been contending for them for years, because some of the things that you're praying about, they need time. They need time to fester. They need time to grow. And I think what someone put it is like, you know, someone who's pregnant has to wait. Like, if you try to go to the doctor several months earlier, they're just like, well, wait. Like, your baby isn't fully developed. Just like your thoughts, you're not ever gonna reach a state of like you've reached. That's not gonna happen on this side of heaven, at least. But you're in a process, a continual process to grow, to grow, walk, run, to teach. That these things are gonna take time. And so, you know, no matter where you are in your Christian walk, you're still gonna have these thoughts that the more you're aware of them, the more you can be like, not thinking that. Of course, in the baby stages, it's going to take some time, but just like exercising, you build up resistance, you build up strength in order to challenge yourself to go further and further. Anyway, that is all. I just hope and pray that anyone who's listening to this will be able to think about what they think about, and especially in terms of the questions that they ask, where they're just like, well, why haven't I got any further than this? Why am I still in the same predicament? Why do I feel paralyzed? These are really good questions, but stop asking yourself these things and direct these things to the Lord. Also, allow yourself time, you know, get into the word, allow yourself the quietness of your room or wherever, a space that you can just get into the presence of the Lord and just be able to say, Lord, you speak. I want to hear what you have to say and not what I prefer you to say, you know? Anyway, I hope you have a fabulous day, and until next time, take care.